Okay, well,
Okie dokie.
we've begun. So we could either just start now, or you guys can just do like a little intro thingamabobber, or however you want to do it.
Yeah, how do we want to start?
I say we each just go, like, I'll be like, hi, I'm Maddie. You go, hi, I'm Jimmy. Hi, I'm David. Hi, I'm Stove. And then we say, and we're Envoy. Blah, blah, blah. It'd be cute.
Okay.
That would be cute.
Sure. I think I've already officially decided that we're just starting it right at the beginning where we started it.
Yeah.
So
Great.
Hi, I'm David. I play guitar for Envoy.
Hi, I'm Jimmy. I played drums for Envoy.
Hi, I'm
Oh,
Stove.
wrong person. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm Steve. I play guitar.
/Stove.
And my name is Maddie, and I am the lesbian lead singer of Envoy,
That's right.
in case you were wondering.
In case you just figured that out after listening to us for 11 years. Yeah, here we are. So
We're doing it.
we're going to do a little bit of a little podcast thingamabobber for you guys to talk a little bit about the new album, Seasons, that just came out. And we'll listen to the songs and we'll kind of talk about the songs a little bit. I don't know. Does anybody want to start off by just talking a little bit about anything they want to talk about with the album?
Yeah, I just think it's cool that it happened. I mean, it's
Pretty wild.
It was kind of a random idea, you know, when we played a show, what was it, like a year and a half ago?
And it was a bad show.
It was.
I think that's actually a great place to start is like, how did this idea even come about?
Yeah. Yeah, because it was at that House of Blues show, which, it was fun. It was fun.
It was fun, but it was not great.
But I think I don't know. We all just really that was our first time playing together in a long time, and then just kind of all got the feeling like, yeah, we feel ready to maybe do some new stuff.
I think the funniest part about it is it started off as kind of like almost like a joke. Like I distinctly remember walking off stage and being like, yeah, that went all right. But you know what would be even more all right is like if we had some new music to put out so we didn't play the same show like 27 times in a row for people.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember we all felt that way too. Yeah, we were just like, I mean, like I always love playing those songs, but it did feel time for something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like my voice can only do what I did when I was 19 for so long, so it's kind of necessity.
Yeah.
If we're ever going to play a show again, I had to get some songs that were a little bit more up to par with my 30-year-old voice.
It's funny, obviously, like before we released this album, I listened to all of our songs plus these ones like 8 million times in a row. Like, I'm literally not even exaggerating, like 8 million times in a row. And when I would go through like the Changes EP and then I would go through this, the stark difference between the vocals on both those albums.
It's crazy.
It's
Yeah,
jarring.
Yeah.
Like, it makes a colossal difference. I
Yeah.
think the coolest thing, I mean, even going back to like the House of Blues show, I remember us talking about like, hey, I think we still have some exciting new stuff in us, and I think that for the project itself, we kind of owe it to ourselves and to like the listeners to produce something else and see where we've come over the course of the last 10 years. So listening to the way that the new songs turned out, it makes a lot of sense. Honestly, it's a lot of growth. I think that's the thing that I was most excited about with the record itself.
I remember when I showed it to Dennis before it came out. Like he was here on St. Patrick's Day, and I just had the roughs that you had just sent, like the kind of finished roughs, and I was just like showing them to him. And this is after we were like drinking all day for St. Patrick's Day and stuff. And he just was like, he listened to like the first like 3, and he's like, "Yeah, this makes sense." He said, "This is just like mature Envoy." And I was like, that is exactly, I think, what we were kind of going for. It's
That
not
was
like
the goal.
move mountains with like creating different types of music and like trying to totally rebrand and shift ourselves and stuff. It's like, let's take like what we were doing that worked, that we liked, because I think we've always written music with the intent of music that we want to listen to, or at least I feel like I've always approached it that way. And let's take that, but let's just like, now that we've had 10 years of like listening to the evolution of music, because honestly, if you look at it, like the music industry over the last 10 years has changed so much also in like how people are approaching writing songs. And like, let's try to like mesh those two worlds together a little bit.
Totally. And like, I don't know, the four of us, I feel like that was very early on in our music careers, like some of our, not our first bands, but some of the beginnings of us being in a band. And yeah, I mean, 10 years since then, we've all been a part of either like a part of various different types of bands or just have explored so many different types of music that, yeah, there was just a lot more to offer instead of just trying to do more of just the old stuff again. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Feels good.
It do.
Feels
Feels
great.
Feels good.
So yeah, I think what we want to do is we're going to kind of go through each song. We'll play the song, we'll listen to it, and we'll kind of just give you guys our hot takes on like what we were thinking when we started the songs, you know, kind of what went into some of the songwriting for them, things like that. And we'll just kind of see if we could provide you guys a little bit of behind the scenes into things. So,
Sick.
Maddie, you
So,
want to
kicking it off, your DJ here. We've got the hardest song, The Hard Way. Crushed it on it.
Thank you.
You did.
It's like one of the biggest things people say is they're like, the drums are insane. And they really are.
I mean, if anybody listens to these songs on anything other than like max fucking volume on whatever your highest quality speaker that you own is, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I feel good.
If we could only know how many times in the recording process we said,
Just give us some volume.
if it doesn't rock,
It's the metric in which you should write music.
Yeah, I agree.
Does it rock?
Yes or no?
Yeah. And if you can't answer that with a definitive yes,
It is a true or false
write a
statement.
different song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I can't remember. Like the whole writing process was super interesting this go around because y'all, I think it was mostly what like Jimmy and Stove, y'all would get the bones together and then Dave would come in and do all the lead stuff that like determined my melodies. I would write them here or then come to Ohio and do some writing there. Was this the first one?
No, it wasn't. So this one got written
Tom.
right here.
Yeah,
actually,
yeah. This song we wrote up here.
Yeah, we wrote it on acoustic.
But actually, I would say a large chunk of the songs, Steve and I literally just sat and like we came, like the three of us came up with like acoustically an idea, and like we didn't have drums or anything to play. So Jimmy like was
played
like
on my
air
lap.
drumming and like figuring things out in his head, and then Steve and I would go in and record guitars, and then we would like program in like a bunch of really basic rough drum ideas, and then Jimmy would come in and just like Jimmyify everything.
Yeah. This is what an actual drummer would do.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
It was a process.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it worked all right.
I think so too. I think so too.
Yeah, it was kind of fragmented like that.
But there was like actually, I don't think there was any particular rhyme or reason to how we wrote anything, you know?
I think it
No,
was just a
'cause-
matter of convenience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
honestly.
because yeah, one of them you and I just kind of wrote in like an hour, and
It was the
yeah,
next
some
one, I
we
believe.
wrote together. Yeah, it was kind of just yeah, whatever worked at the moment. We
Yeah.
just sat down. We were like, okay, we want to write a song. How are we gonna do it?
And I, think,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, no, you're fine. Go ahead.
I think it's the funniest thing that the hardest song on the record, arguably, is the one that got written on acoustic, like you mentioned.
Yeah, we wrote
because
that on an
the
acoustic
power was
guitar.
out. The power was out here.
Oh yeah, I
my
forgot
God.
about
Was
that.
out,
There
so
was
we
like a
had
total
no-
blackout. It's the only time I've ever lost power here in this house for like longer than like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's
And it was out for like 3 hours, and we're just up here. We went to Home Depot to buy a DeWalt light, battery powered light, and we just had that thing posted up like right here, and we're just sitting up here writing in the dark.
Yeah,
Hey, what if we wrote a song that rocks in the dark?
Yeah, it's kind of funny how that happened.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it was so different because our writing, the way we used to write, we would all get in the room together. Someone would come with an idea, and then I'd, kind of riff off of it. But it was neat because y'all would write these bones of things, and then I would come to Cleveland and be like, change that, change this, move this around, move that around.
No.
And like, yeah, I would do some of the arranging, and that was like super fun to have. Because that's my favorite part about writing is the arranging. So to still be able to be a part of that was really cool. But I do think, like, Dave, you kind of pushed us to use reference tracks for a lot of these songs, which I think was such a smart move because it gave us a direction. And I think that's part of, like, the maturity in it. We weren't
Yeah.
just writing to be like, let's see what happens, It was
Yeah, yeah.
just, let's go this direction. So for this one, this is my favorite story. Are we allowed to talk about the word?
I
don't-
fully planned on doing
Oh.
it. Yeah.
Yes. So
I fully
this
planned on
one,
it. We're breaking all the. Yeah.
No one's gonna like this.
Let's tell
anymore.
everybody. They're gonna love it.
speaking of
I
breaking,
like it.
the reference track for this, correct me if I'm wrong, was Diary of Jane.
Sure.
Working
friggin'
title: Diary
was.
of Dave.
The Diary of Dave.
Diary of Dave.
Yeah.
And so I remember I wrote a chorus for this, and it didn't rock. It didn't rock.
It did not rock.
It could have rocked more.
Yeah.
You
could've
took
rocked
it.
more.
You took it and you turned it up to 11.
Yeah.
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 But the way I did that, and I remember like telling y'all about this when I came into the studio, I was on my drive to Cleveland trying to rework the chorus, and I literally took the melody line for Diary of Jane and moved the melody around. So like something's getting in, so that something I know you're and I. It's literally just it flipped, and I thought that like without knowing that there was a reference track to it, I wouldn't have been able to come up with that.
Yeah.
So it really pushed me to do a lot more melodically than what I would have normally done.
I
So-
think a lot of people like to like shit on bands that are like, oh, this part is so obviously like this song or blah blah blah. But it's like, how many times are you gonna like recreate the wheel again? Like almost never, right? So I think the cool thing about like the reference tracks, like what Maddie's referring to and like how we kind of did it is all of us have such crazy different like music tastes and things, you know, that span like all over the place. Like Steve's in a fucking death metal band. Maddie does like folk music and like plays in like jam bands and singer-songwriter stuff. Like Jimmy listens to freaking August Burns Red, and like all of his drumming is like basically like this is like Matt Grainer 2.0, right? Right before we started this, I'm listening to Kenny Chesney in the background. Like
It's madness.
Like, it's madness how different our music tastes are. So like being able to pick any song that it's like, wow, this song has been like really big to me lately, or like really impactful to me, and like think like, okay, if Envoy wrote a song that was kind of like this song, how would it turn out? I think is a really cool idea, because it's definitely not like, it's not copying it, right? Like, it's not like we're going through piece by piece and it's like, oh yeah, we have to do it exactly this way and exactly this way and exactly this way. But when you take the whole vibe of a song and you try to write something like, if Breaking Benjamin wrote a song, you know, their next hit single, this is how they would kind of put together a riff or like layer leads over it or whatever. And then we kept saying like Envoyify it. And as we added more layers to it, it had this different sound, but it was still true to who we are as a band, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that helped add all the variety to the album that I think this one actually has. Like each song is fairly different from the next one.
Yeah, it definitely just like pushed us out of like our comfort zones.
Yeah.
Speaking of the layers of this one, I think that from when we started, like the bare bones track of this, and you know, envoyifying it, so to speak, along the way, you know, when I was showing this to people who, you know, don't have a lot of scope as far as like how the music writing process goes for different projects, the beginning product and the end product of this one are so notably different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it all happened just barely noticeable chunks at a time. You know, every revision we got of this came back, and you go back to the first one, and then now we have this. It's not even recognizable, and I think that that's really cool.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it speaks to like giving yourself that time to let the creative process happen and like let it evolve, like to where you have the time to step away from it and have kind of like a zoomed out view of the song.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know, like that's another thing too, that like I get asked is how did you guys, how were you able to do this over such a long time? And you know, it's always the same answer. We're so lucky to have Steve. You know, we have the ability to do this because of you, and it gives us the time to let these things, you know, kind of marinate, so to speak, so we can get it right.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the whole, every track is like that.
And I can't believe the luxury of like how easy it is to just try things doing it the way that we did it this round. Like where it's literally like, hey, Steve, try to just put this type of drum beat over that instead, right? It's like, click, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I think like with like modern day, just being able to record on a laptop, it's something that every band and everybody has access to. I like whenever I work with other bands, I try to like push people to, you know, during the writing process, audition different things like that. Because you never know what'll happen or how things will evolve over time.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So that song smacks. I like it a lot.
I love
It
that
do.
song.
I love all of them. Like
Yeah.
it's so funny. Normally listening back to like my voice or listening back to songs I've recorded, I'm like, yep, that's fine. I bump this in the car
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love listening to it. Speaking of how we've changed, let's take a spin with Desensor Part 2. Electric Boogaloo.
You're great with these transitions.
As long as you're here, love, that's all I really need. Like I was one in a million, all the things you said to me. See all the damage that
This part is so hard. So hard.
It really is.
I had my back turned, dressed in pink. When you came to the Keystone all those years ago, thought you would notice I let the feeling sink into your backbone. Fear would take over. She couldn't love you like I do. No one loved you like I do. I'll build a home just to spite you. 'Cause no one loved you like I do. See all the damage that you've done. Voice of an angel that once called out to me. Kept showing signs I was the one. I'll make you pay for this. Want you to pay for it. Yeah, I'll make you pay for this. See all the damage that you've done.
You can still sing like you did.
Yeah, that
That's
note
such a-
you fucking scream at the end. All the damage. that
Well,
you've
y'all know why.
done.
Because it was the whole thing was we had done a little bit. And I think some of the tracks that we did long distance made it into the record.
A lot of them did, yeah.
Yeah, Stove and I did a lot of long distance recording.
You're
for
talking the
vocals.
actual vocal tracks. Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was
I
saying all the
tracked
tracks made it onto the
No, not all.
Well, no, I mean like all of the songs made it. All the tracks.
I don't. All of those made it, but
I mean like the literal songs we wrote.
We had
like
100%
all of them made
acceptance.
it. Yeah, there was
Yeah.
100%
Yeah,
acceptance.
no,
Oh.
you're just talking about like
Yeah,
the ones
not
that we
the individual
recorded.
vocal tracks. You're saying?
no, yeah,
Yes,
like I sent. We
I
did some
understand.
like recording
Yeah, yeah.
of vocal passes. Here, well, I was here in Nashville, and Stove was there, and we like did it together, and it was really cool. But that particular song, I remember I had written the verse, and it was kind of like it was kind of chill, like it was that whole. And I love this vocal production. This is one of my favorite things on the record. Like that whisper behind the verses is so cool.
It's the coolest.
But the bridge, right now, the I am a back turned dress, that was actually the verse originally, if y'all remember.
Sure was.
And then it didn't rock hard enough.
Did not.
And, you know, we had this idea. I don't remember if it was Dave's idea or whose idea it was to
It was
put
Dave's
that.
Yeah.
It was Dave's idea?
Oh yeah.
Of course it was. And then to move that to the bridge, and I was like, that's fine. That's not going to work. And then I was like, oh, shit. That slapped.
Wait a minute.
It worked.
It rocks.
It worked.
But Ed had originally been recorded as a verse, so the dynamic was so much softer. So I came to Cleveland to track some stuff in with y'all, and that was one of the parts where I had to like really get some grit together, and then those big notes at the end and all those ad libs. And I remember I was like, I don't know if I can do this. So I went and I bought a pack of cigarettes and I smoked a cigarette
So let me get
outside.
some grit here.
And I came in and I nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. I love it.
Just sometimes you have to travel back in time.
You got to do what you got to do, you know?
Yeah, you just gotta smoke a cig
Okay, so
sometimes.
so this song I think is the only song out of all of them that I came into like it was finished basically.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
Like I was coming, I couldn't get there till like 3 hours after you guys were able to get together, and I got there and you guys are like, "Yeah, we wrote this fucking song," and then you played it, and it was like the whole thing, like literally the whole song was there, and I was just like, "How did you do that in like 3 hours?"
I'll tell you how we did it. It started with the the Killers. It was a Killers inspired thing. That's for me.
See, this is news to me. I don't know this story, so you fill me in.
Right. So
Because we started with the drum beat, right?
yeah, it started from like we were talking about Ronnie Vannucci, and he uses 18-inch hi-hats, and he always plays these like crazy groovy.
It's a big hi-hat.
Yeah, it's giant. It's crazy.
giant,
It's
yeah,
what
yeah.
started the conversation. Like, what if we did that? What if we made a drum beat?
Which
Kinda
drum
like
beat
this.
was it? The chorus one?
No,
or-
it's literally the intro that fades in. That
It was just
whole thing.
It was just like one of those things too, where like it's like rare, but one of those moments where like once you finish one part, the next part
It
is
just came.
it's just
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and you just go. And like I think we finished the skeleton in an hour.
It was just like wildfire for this one. It happened so quickly.
Yeah.
I will say I feel like that one has the most true just like verse chorus kind of structure to
Yep,
it, bridge chorus, which is awesome, obviously. So okay, here's my question for you, Steve. So
Yes.
that riff, first off, we brought the riffs back on this album.
We did.
Just in general, we brought the riffs back, right? I think that's something
the
where
goal.
before, last album, stuff like that, there was a riff here or there, but it was
It's mostly chords.
like chords, right? It wasn't riffs, right?
Whoops, all riffs.
This song has arguably the most intricate and cool verse riff ever. So where did that come from?
I literally don't know.
It just happened. Like I'm
No, so
serious. Not
this
even
is the
like
thing.
like
Hold
it's
on.
so complex.
It was like the flow state kind of thing.
No.
I don't know.
I was just like, here's a drum beat.
Yeah.
And Steve was like, here's this guitar part. It just happened. It was the first time. And then we talked about it again.
I don't write riffs like that normally. So I
yeah,
don't know.
I mean
No,
it's
like, you know, like, your
ridiculous. It's like a
eyes-
mix of like polyphia with
I think it must have been
like
because
with
we were
saliva,
going,
maybe. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was because we were going over some influences of yours or something.
Yeah.
And then all I did, I switched my guitar into the single coil and it got the twangy tone. And I was like,
This
all
is
right.
what I need to play.
And after you birthed the riff, the harmonics or what is that what yeah. I was like, hey, what about
Oh, those were an afterthought.
Seosin? Could you do a little bit of that? And then you did it. And it was done.
I mean, it's
was-
the
it was
coolest. And I think when I came into it, this song, I also was like the most intimidated to write any sort of leads for because there's so little breathing room in it for anything, So, like, even actually, like, my lead in the chorus was a part of the chorus riff initially. The blum banu, blum banu, blum banu.
Oh,
blum
yeah,
banu.
I
Like,
forgot
you
about
were
that.
playing like a burn, burn, burn. It was like a part of the chorus riff.
I remember that.
You know, and I was like, maybe we tone that back just a touch,
Can you give me
so I can
something?
play something here, which is crazy. So I really like that song because I feel like I tried to make it, like with at least the parts I was putting on it, like as spacey as I could because it was so. I remember we were all kind of concerned, like, is this song like too butt rocky, because it very much had that vibe, and I wanted to add like a little bit of like a spaciness onto it. And then the spooky vocals. I don't know if anybody's noticed those.
No.
Does somebody want to touch on the spooky vocals?
I think
I don't think Maddie even knows. Do you know?
Oh, the
the 90s Walmart ghost motion activated.
Yeah, that one.
I can't do it. Yeah, that thing.
yeah. Dave was like, we need something in the beginning that's kind of like spooky vocals, and I was like, what the fuck
no,
is that?
you're thinking wrong song. You're thinking
No?
you're thinking Diary of Dave, the vocals over that. We're talking the part
wait.
right after the first chorus where you'll hear it. Like you actually probably should play it back so everybody can hear it. The
Okay.
part right after the first chorus where I play that like real fast, like trem picked lead, there's like a little vocal touch in there. Just
I think that was literally just a random little idea for some ear candy.
Little vocal treat.
Yeah, just needed like a little vocal guy.
Second verse?
no,
Right
right after
before
the
it.
first chorus.
Okay. Which is
Over this. Go back, right, play it one more time.
Right here.
See, this is the problem. This is the problem.
when did we do that?
I think I just did that.
It just happens.
You know what it is? I bet you $10 this is what it is. Before I oh wait, I remember. Okay. So before I do vocal takes of this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I do this like weird thing where I go like I do like weird stuff to like get my voice up into like the mask resonance. And I'm pretty sure what we did is Stove took that and flipped it, like reversed it.
I did. I flipped it up and reversed. Wait.
Is there a flipper nipper flying in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other thing about recording everything in Stove's studios. We would come back sometimes and we'd just be like, wait, we're listening back. We're like, wait, what is that? And Steve would be like, I don't know.
What are you talking about? Crazy.
That's awesome.
Wasn't there a
I just do-
scream in one of the songs that was just buried under there for a
It's
while?
in there.
No,
It's in there
in there?
still?
A
It
scream?
made it.
Should be. Yeah.
Where? What song?
In what was it? It was I forget what the actual title of it is. We were calling these working titles for so long.
What was the word?
Not all right.
Not all right. Yeah.
Kind of say
There's a scream in that?
Yeah, right at the beginning of the second chorus.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I'm excited to hear that now. Okay, so let's tell everybody the working title for this one. Care to elaborate?
Hit the Quan.
Hit the Quan.
There is no explanation.
There's
you
none.
just do it.
We were just listening
but
to
it
it
made
that day.
so much sense when you were like, yeah, this one, the working title is Hit the Quan. I was
Yeah.
like,
We
I
were
get
just
it.
listening to that song that day. I think I just wanted to like bump that song on the speakers at the
That's what
studio,
happened.
and
Hit the Quan.
I was just feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just,
And then we
that's
did.
it. That's literally the
I
explanation.
love it.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
All right. Well, that one slaps too. Should we move on to the next?
Oh, to the hit.
Yeah.
The hit. First off,
Hit.
no, play it and then we'll talk about it. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
The rush, the feeling of falling, enough to make me feel nothing. The one thing that I can't let go of. But I think that I am starting to listen again. No sense of direction, and I can't keep coming back to this old friend. Back to this day, I won't let the fear of the fallout rob me of clarity. I know what it's like at the bottom, and this means more to me.
This was a dance party, you know?
It's fighting uphill. I would rather listen and be still in the moment.
I love that delay crash right there. It's like,
Where I've been and where I'm going. Set my sights on the here and now. Set aside the vicious cycle. Got so used to always staying down. Somehow I found that can't keep coming back to this old thing. I won't let the fear of the fallout rob me of clarity. I know what it's like at the bottom, and this means more to me. But I think that I am starting to wear thin again.
This part.
And I can't keep coming back to this old friend.
there we go.
I won't let the fear of the fallout rob me of clarity. I know what it's like at the bottom. This means more to me. This means more to
The synth outro.
Do y'all know this has like
Gang A.
20 seconds of like
It's
roll like this?
100% necessary, Maddie.
You got to give the
Yeah.
people time to
Yeah.
catch their breath.
Yeah. Because honestly,
Still
that's
a
it. It's
little
like
guy.
everything's finished. I envision that like end of the set, you know, just like boom, and then we're all sitting there like, oh, thank you so much for coming out. Oh, we're so tired.
Just
Oh.
like that.
And then it's just like the synth is just fucking blasting in the background, you know?
Totally.
That's 100% the vibe for that, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. That song, wow. I'll tell you, not that I didn't think that song was going to be like
No,
a
no,
hit,
I didn't.
but like
I didn't.
that one as 5,000x exceeded my expectations, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That was the first one, right?
It was the first
That
one.
is
It was
the,
first
one that started it all.
Yeah.
It is.
That's the one. And
this was-
wow, was it different.
But
And
you
should I
know
tell
it.
everybody the working song for this one? Do you guys remember?
I do. Yes.
No. I'm
Doesn't
blanking-
sound, you don't remember?
I'm blanking on this one.
Oh, 100%. Shout out to Mexican food.
Oh yeah.
Don Tequila is
Don
the working
Tequila.
title. I meant the working song, the song we kind of based it off of.
If I have
I'm
to
a-
hear this song one more time in my life.
Wait, well, let me see if I remember the words to it. Walk on fire for you. Just let me adore you. That's the only thing I ever knew. You guys know that one?
Oh yeah.
Harry Styles?
I've heard it a
Little Harry Styles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Familiar.
That was literally like the kind of the working track for this, which is hilarious because like it could not be further from that one now.
It was mostly just like the structure of the arrangement. Right?
Yeah. I don't even know. It's just like it.
Yeah, because there was like a lot of parts. I remember like Jimmy, you and me were really into that Moxie the band.
Yeah, no, and I still am.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that's where like
a
the
great
poppier
band.
elements of that.
It is.
came
It is.
from
And they
that.
were like, hey, 1975. Let's talk about the riff, okay, guys? Let's talk about it. It was.
little guy.
It's just that. But this was the one where you and I were locked in a room and
Yes.
went off the rails with 80s nostalgia. And then
Yes.
Dave kicked in the door and was like, hey,
I remember that.
how about no?
Because we wrote it at your parents' house.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we are like, same deal, on an acoustic guitar. And we had like a kind of like, here's a part, here's a part, here's a part. And then I was, same deal. You guys had like an hour before I was getting there. And I was like, yeah, like just like track as much of it as you can and we'll like play around with it. And I come in and again, it's like, what did you guys do?
Look, once I
There's
get,
just stuff all over it.
once I
Sparkles.
get in front of a synth, I can't stop.
And then we didn't. And it still
did not
worked.
stop.
It still worked.
Oh, God. This one also, I think, probably had out of all of the songs the most restructuring as
Yeah.
far as pieces and parts. Like that crazy, again, bringing back the riffs, right? That
Yeah.
crazy riff and like the bridge in this part with the whoa, whoa, whoa. That, I don't know if you remember, used to be the post chorus.
I do.
It played at the end of every chorus.
Yeah.
And then we were like, it's sweet, but maybe let's let it shine a little more. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it kind of makes sense since it was like the first song. I feel like we were all still kind of like getting our bearings with
Is-
like the writing process for this.
Is this the one that also had the Devil Wears Prada riff in it?
Yeah, the octaves. The
Yeah.
octaves. Shit, yeah, I do
that was a
remember
cool
that.
part.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, dude, the song is so good though. I think it's like the most well written out of all of them. It's like it's easy on the ears, but still rocks. You know?
Well, you know why it's the best, like one of the most well written is because Steve and I wrote these lyrics and melodies together.
Yeah, that was the first
Oh,
time he came up.
This is one we did together, and it just shows. I mean, I'm kind of sad that I live so far away because I like feel like if we could have sat down and done that with every single song, but I'm happy with how everything ended up. But this one is really special.
Yeah.
And I think it's because like Stove, you bring so much to the table melodically and lyrically, and Stove and I have written together for other things too, and it's just kind of we've always had that connection. So it was really neat to be able to write that one with you all the way through.
Yeah. I love writing with you.
I think this one too, like in all the roughs that we had of it, like in my 8,000 listens to of all of them, until we really started getting near the end of like the mixing process of things, there were certain parts where I wasn't entirely sure of like all of the lyrics and stuff like that. Like I couldn't hear them and like really decipher exactly what you were saying. And when I like heard the could hear them crystal clear, like in listening to the song, I think this one has the most like powerful lyrics too out of all of them, you know? They're like really relatable and like relatable to like many different stages of anybody's life. You know, no matter what somebody's kind of going through, right? Or like whatever types of like hurdles they're kind of overcoming, it's relatable to all of those experiences, no matter what it is, you know, which I think is really awesome. And I just see that like, I know what is like at the bottom. Again, I like to picture things rocking on stage, and I have pictured myself rocking on stage to a bunch of people fucking screaming that. And I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
You put it on your dream board?
It's on my dream board.
Good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Dream board?
Yeah, it's on my dream board.
This
Rock
song
on stage
Nice
to more to me.
makes me wish I had hair so I could, you know, throw it around while
Get
we're
away.
playing it.
Windmill.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you're really killing my emotional statement
know,
that I'm trying to make right now. Okay.
I know.
Speaking of emotions, my sweet, sweet dear ones, how about we listen to the title track?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right, we're Envoy coming at you with Seasons.
Seasons.
Don't you think we've gone through changes? I've been hanging around on the south side of town. Don't see much of you now. Do you still sing in your car along with the sweet sound of who we used to be? How you been? How's everything? You could say that I'm alright. Thanks for asking, I'm just fine. That day feels like yesterday. We could fan those old flames, but we both know this ain't the same. I've been alone with the same thoughts of who I am and who I'm not, what you want and what we've got. Now I don't try so hard to save you from the dark, because that's just not on me. I'll sit with my own heart. How you been? How's everything? You could say that I'm alright. Thanks for asking, I'm just fine. That day feels like yesterday. We could fan those old flames, but we both know this ain't the same. No, that's just not on me. I don't need to save you from the dark. Never should have from the start. No, that's just not on me. I don't need to save you from the dark. Never should have from the start. No, that's just not on me. I just need to sit with my own heart and find exactly how I've been. How's everything? You could say that I'm alright. Thanks for asking, I'm just fine. That's just not on me. Feels like yesterday. We could find those old flames, but we both know this ain't the same.
Yeah.
That one's sweet.
Yeah, I love that one.
That one has, I think, the strongest bridge out of any song we've literally ever written.
That's SpongeBob's alarm clock
What?
reminding me to take my medicine that I'm not going to
Take your medicine.
I don't have it. I'm going to die.
You might die.
I'm sorry, guys. I've let you down.
Strongest bridge out of any song we've ever written. Jimmy, killing the vibes.
What else am I good for, right? It is a very
was.
strong bridge.
That was the first song we did vocally, right?
Yeah, well, because that was another one you and I wrote together. We did that one, and
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah.
we did those two together. And that song, I remember we were like, we had all these grandiose ideas, like we're gonna bring in a gospel choir.
Yeah.
I still
That'd
think
be
it would have been
great.
sweet.
It still sounds like it though. Like honestly, I
Alright.
remember.
It's
I
not
remember
a
when you
bad
sent me those also, and I was like, I listened to it for the first time. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the vocal arrangement on this one.
Yeah.
Just all the like moving parts are really cool. All of the harmonies are really neat. And like the subject matter of this one is so meaningful to me as well. This whole song was like, it was the first song we did vocally. It was the first song I started writing off this record, and it's literally all about this whole process of coming back to this project 10 years later and bringing to it what we've learned. Like I feel like long time ago, like back in the Changes era, I would do anything for anyone who listened to our music, and it was always like, I'm gonna change your life and blah blah blah. And now it's just realizing that the music in itself is enough is really cool. So yeah, this I love this subject matter, and I love this song. It's really cool how it all came together. I'm glad it's the title track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was a pretty easy one musically to put together too, because like I think the bones of it was just like an old demo that I threw
Yeah, I was gonna
together.
say
Like,
you had this one kind of banked. I remember.
yeah, it was like a random song that I was writing for somebody else like a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh, this might work for Envoy actually.
Yeah.
And then we were like, yeah, let's roll with it.
I think it's awesome. I think that it's got, there's certain songs in this whole project that feel like I almost should put them in a very particular order, because as I listen to them, it feels like the transition of the sweet sound of who we used to be to now,
Yeah.
And I feel like this one like really kind of like hits that vibe. Like it's got that like same deal, that real fucking power chordy, riff structure to it. It's got the big dominant leads like over top of it and stuff. Like it's just, it really feels like if we tried to write a song that was like old Envoy, like that was on this project. It feels like that. And I remember saying from like the get-go when you started putting vocals together, like your melodies you came up with for the verse were just so smooth. Like they just flowed so nicely on this song, which is just really sweet. And it's cool. So yeah, I dig this one. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also like this one. It had the first goosebumpable moment, I'll call it,
Yeah.
for the writing process. It was when everything drops out before the bridge and Steve's part. Gosh, it's such a good progression. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole park is good. I agree. Like that bridge is just like
It's
just like really
perfect.
big and epic sounding
Yeah.
and cool. And yeah, like all the group vocals are cool. And one of my favorite parts is like the very end where like that part
Yeah.
repeats, countering your main vocal that you and I are singing back and forth. Yeah, one of my favorite endings on the EP personally.
It was a lot
Yeah.
of fun. This for me, I remember when we were starting to write it. We touched on like how the drums were initially programmed.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of the programmed drums stuck, but it was such a different rhythm that like physically mapping it.
Like
Was-
different for you.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
really, really different.
Yeah.
I've heard a couple of times people have messaged me saying that they couldn't quite find like the beat the first time that they hear, when it kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
But then the next time they hear it's like, oh wow, that's interesting. But it's all based off of that track that you had stored, Steve. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
rhythm is
Which I think was
very
just some
different.
drum loop somewhere.
It's really something else, but it turned into this really cool beat that I think is probably one of the things that, from a drums perspective, is one of the things I'm more proud of on the record. It's an abstract beat that works, and I had a lot of fun with it too. But this one was there's a lot of stuff packed into it. I think it's really great how it turned out.
Hell yeah. All right.
Oh, the doozy. A doozy. Did we share the working title for that one?
What was it?
For Seasons.
Free coffee.
Free coffee.
Free coffee.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah. Shout out Blue Sky Brews in Cleveland.
Shout out for the free coffee.
Thank you.
Sometimes the espresso
Boy,
tastes like green bean
fueled
water.
by free coffee.
Yeah.
All right, so next we've got the song that everyone but Dave wanted to can. And then I'm so glad we didn't, because it turned out amazing. We just had to
I'm
put
just going to
some...
say it. Hold on. Wait. Dave, you were right.
You were right.
Really? Really?
Dave was right.
I got a good idea every now and then.
A few. Yeah. I would say so. This one was great.
Love it. So
Good
let's
work.
listen to the Prodigal Son.
You know what's hilarious too, though, is this one also highly, highly exceeded my expectations as far as like the reception of people. This is one of the ones, like one of the top 3 that people comment saying, "Oh my god, that song is the one that like really stuck with me."
Yeah, it was like the most like experimental one, really. So I
sure.
agree.
It's a linear song.
Yeah,
We don't
Linear.
do that.
We do
No
today.
form.
We do
No
today.
form.
Let's do it.
Let's take a listen to Tidal Wave.
Just a drop, bailing out a tidal wave. Nothing I can do or say. Hopeless is hard to see. Keep the blinders on, and it won't hurt so bad. No one's really had it. Full of complacency. Full of complacency. When is enough enough? When does history repeat itself? How does anything good sustain in an empty place? How does anything come to change? Hold the world in my hands, but can't trust what's in front of me. Sit comfortably and scream, somebody do something, somebody do
This is my favorite part.
Just a drop, bailing out a tidal wave. Nothing I can do or say.
I love Steve's riff under it too. It's so cool.
Hard to see. God forbid we lift a finger. Reading dirt that's on our hands.
So good.
For blood in sand, crying outrage on a webpage and still do nothing. Still do nothing.
Wow.
It just kind of takes you on a journey, you know?
It does.
It's not about the destination.
Nope.
It's about the
But
journey.
we all know that the star of that song is Stove going.
It was fun.
It
I had fun.
We said, Steve, go scream that as torqued as you possibly can
first
scream it.
time.
do-
We
First,
specifically said that. I
first
think.
time.
Yeah.
And
It was the
just
first
nailed
one
it.
was perfect.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't think that like we couldn't if you did 2 of those in a row, we wouldn't be able to stream it because it would just blow up
I
computers.
don't think I could physically
Well,
do 2 of those.
No.
Also, like the thing was, like that song was like the last time you came out to track vocals, and it was like 1 a.m. at that point or something like that.
were
And we
so
were like, we
fried.
have to finish everything. So we got to that one, and I remember as you were tracking your vocals, Maddie, you were in a state of delusion at that point. I think. Yeah, you were
I had, like,
you
10
were making
cigarettes
weird
and was like,
noises, and like you were
I
singing weird things and doing like way more SpongeBob references than you normally do. And like you were in like total like sleep deprived, like I'm in a crazed state, Maddie, at that point.
Yeah, pretty fried.
And you were recording your vocals, and there were so many parts where you're like, that part sucked because like you could just hear the like strain in your voice at that point, and we were like, no, it sounds perfect. It had like because it like had like so much more like emotion behind it. It felt like it wasn't
Yeah.
like super polished and stuff. And I feel like that was the same thing with your scream there too.
Probably. Yeah, I was pretty beat too.
Yeah.
That was a long day.
It rocks.
That was
Yeah.
a
We done
long
did it.
bit.
Yeah. But yeah, that song, that one came together like a lot differently than I thought because that was originally like a really long song.
Yeah.
And vocals came in really late. So, it was hard to imagine how that was going to end up. But
The really interesting thing about it, though, is like it's funny. I remember when we came back to it, like that day we were going to record, you were like, "Oh yeah, we totally changed this song," and I was like, "What?" And really, the only thing that was changed is like a lot of the parts were just really long. Like
Yeah,
that
we
whole
just-
intro part was like 3 times as long as it was. Like it wasn't like different parts. Nothing was really moved around. It was just so much more condensed than it originally was.
yeah, that
you
was
know?
really it. Is like we were trying to like think of vocal arrangements.
Yeah.
And then, we kind of realized during that process, we were like, every single section could probably be cut in half. So it's like, originally the whole song was like twice as long.
Yeah. I think my favorite part is realizing in that like that the first verse fit over that. I remember
That was
when
the
we
coolest. I remember.
Oh, yeah.
when we realized that we were like,
It's like,
oh,
that's nice.
that's one of my favorite parts of that whole.
And it all just really tied it together. How it like brought like it follows kind of a verse chorus structure vocally. I feel like, but musically it doesn't. You know,
Yeah.
and I think that's like kind of almost the coolest part about
Should
it.
we talk about what musically influenced this?
Heck yeah, we should still. Okay, first off, working title for that song, Epic Song. Because I feel like as we were writing it, we're like, this is not just like epic, it is an epic. You know how like when like they have like the Odyssey or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, is like
Yeah.
it's an epic. Like this is what that song was, right?
Yeah.
And yes, this song is fully modeled off of Cosmic by Avenged Sevenfold off their new album. Let's go. A7X.
Yeah, I remember you came in the studio. We're like, we need to do a song like
I
this.
said we need to do a song like this.
and I was like,
And listen,
all right.
the thing
along
that
for
the thing I will give these 2 gentlemen next to me credit for is they entertained my idea as long as it needed to be entertained without too much judgment.
No judgment.
No.
No
And
judgment.
I
And
knew
we
that at
wound
the
up
end of the
getting there.
day, like I can trust your taste with things. it was kind of out of left field.
It was, yeah.
But I was like, okay, if we roll with this, I feel like we're gonna end up somewhere.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
don't
it was-
have like if there's one thing you can do, it's make a great song. Like it's getting there. You have
We just
the
got to
ideas.
get there, you know? We just got to get there.
Yeah, I
and
think-
we envoyified it, and it came out great.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like, I know at least Stove and I had some conversations where like, oh man, like I just don't. I even like I was like, I can't write to this. Like I have no idea.
It was
how I'm
wide
gonna write to
wide
it.
open, you know?
Yeah, I was like, there's nothing I can do. And again, it's like that's why I'm so glad that David, you really pushed us. Like, and it really is like a production thing. Like, I don't think you realize how much of a producer's role you took on this, but
Totally.
like pushing us to do things that are super outside of the comfort zone, I think is what makes it such a mature approach. So it was really cool to like have that and then come in with Stove and chop it up and then be like, all right, this is what we got. And then being like, holy shit, this is super cool.
Yeah. And that last day, though, like when we actually tracked this was really the first time that I actually heard the vocals for it. And like, it was funny because like Steve was also telling me, he's like, yeah, Maddie's like unsure about some of the vocals that she put together for it and this and that. And I remember you guys played it for me and I was like, this is awesome. It's like, this is actually really cool.
Why?
Like,
Yeah, I mean, I do remember like when we were remotely
yeah.
like writing and just trying to arrange, like you were really unsure. And I do remember you going like, I don't know, something like, and then you just like did some gibberish thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually kind of perfect.
Yeah.
It was like out of your comfort zone. So I get the being hesitant, but yeah, it was, yeah, it came together.
I think everybody on this one had something out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, I remember when we were recording this, Steve, like, coming up with what exactly to do. I mean, came down to Bayside, honestly, like, for the drum portions of it, like, especially towards the end of the
always
song.
does.
It does. It just, it's the algorithm for how to rock.
How to rock.
But that's just something I'd never
Yeah.
considered before.
So for all you guys that love this song, just know we almost had a 5-song EP. And I said that.
And we're sorry.
I said it's a real bitch move if we do a 5-song EP, is what I said.
Are we allowed to cuss on this?
Yes, Jimmy, listen.
I've really been holding back.
I've already said the F word like twice.
I can't hear it.
Come on.
I didn't hear it.
Let's get real.
Fuck.
Get real. Okay, song's awesome. Epic song. It is an epic. We like it a lot. That's going to be another really interesting one when we get together to like actually play it. You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because that was really just composed. Like,
Yeah. It'd
with
just
no
be really
thoughts of
interesting
that.
to like play it together. You know,
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, because there's a lot of layers and stuff going on. We didn't really put any thought into
I
like,
also still think, just like
playing it.
one last touch on it, like I remember another key moment when we were writing the guitar, because we wrote all the like leads and rhythms like together. Like we really pieced that one together, just
Right.
like back and forth, you and I in the studio. And like I remember we got to that part, the
Yeah.
and we were like,
The Bayside part.
dude, oh my God, it's the coolest.
Yeah, I love that
It's
part. That's
literally
probably
the
my
coolest.
favorite part
Yeah,
of the song,
yeah.
personally.
Yeah, it's cool. All right.
Well, we're glad it's here.
Yes, I am.
Now, the track that earned us the explicit.
Okay, I'm so proud of the fact that we have that on one of the tracks.
I was too,
I think it's also
honestly.
hilarious that they have like a department that goes through and finds the one single swear word and just has to put an explicit on it because of that.
Isn't it
Oh, no, I put that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you have
okay.
to.
Well, listen,
it's
I'm
this-
actually not anywhere near as proud of that.
It's the
anymore than-
stove
Sorry.
AI.
I really thought that like Apple Podcast and like or Apple Music and like Spotify just like marked it as explicit, and I was like, that's so cool. Okay, so,
Yeah.
well, whatever.
Sorry.
You guys
I
just burst my bubble.
shattered your whole universe. I'm sorry.
When you register it with distribution, you have to tell them if there's a swear in it.
Well,
All
you
right.
know,
So I am the department.
yeah,
All right.
PR.
Well, all right, hit us with it, Maddie.
All right. We've got At the Caboose, Some Kind of Savior.
With all the other kids who never got their shit together.
One per album. One guitar solo per
I
album.
love it. We needed like a What Happened to Wyoming solo moment.
Yeah. That song is sweet. That one is just so like simplistically sweet, I feel like.
Yeah, it's catchy.
You know what I mean? It just like it's just the chorus, the melody is so fucking catchy. The riffs are pretty cool in it. Like it's got the you guys back and forth thing. It's got the guitar solo.
You know,
It's
that's
got-
another thing.
It's just
the
great.
the you guys back and forth thing. I find it really interesting that there's seems to be a good amount of people out there that don't realize that Steve is doing the call and response to that.
Wait, really?
Yeah, no, I've seen
What
a
makes
lot.
you think this? Because I feel the opposite.
Like, okay, so with, I saw a couple of comments come through on some stuff, and the reaction video guy. He was like, "Hey, I don't know."
You're going off the judgment of one person?
No. It's like just when I've received direct questions asking, "Who's the other person singing on your record?"
All right.
It's Steve.
Okay.
It's always been Steve.
It's Steve.
Always has been.
Always. Well, except for that one time it was Dennis.
Yeah, which everyone also thinks is me, which is funny.
Yeah, that's also
It's
what.
like, yeah, I can't sing like that.
Not quite, yeah. This is another one. We wrote this one the same day as we wrote Diary of Dave up here in the fucking dark.
Yeah.
This one also went through quite a journey as far as like
Yeah.
what it wound up turning into.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
changed pretty dramatically like last minute.
Yeah. Last minute.
Because what changed? I mean, we changed the key of the song at the last
We
minute.
literally
we
brought it up
did.
an
Yeah.
entire step,
We had to re-record all the guitars.
just like on the fucking fly.
Yeah, most of
There
the
was-
Yeah,
vocals.
'cause we recorded it, and I kind of liked it. Was like sultry and blah blah blah, and then David was like, "Sing higher," and then we pitched it up with Melodyne, right?
Yeah, just to like audition it, and it just so much
and
more
it
energy.
and it rocked,
Yeah,
and it rocked.
it's
It did.
crazy how much just one step up, how much it changes the
Because
song.
the melody was so catchy. It
Yeah.
was like there was nothing wrong with the melody. It was so catchy. It was just it didn't have quite enough oomph for how powerful the music was my thing, you know?
Yeah.
And it just like immediately fixed it, I feel like. And we listened to it. And I literally remember like I was like, Steve, just like put it up a notch. Let me just hear it. Let me hear it. And you did it and we just looked at each other and we're like, yeah.
yeah, we're gonna have to do that.
This is my turn to say, David, you were right.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, but also then you put that lead in the chorus, and it changed the tone of everything.
It totally changed the vibe of it. Yeah.
That was my moment with this song
It
when,
was.
when you
Yeah,
put that
yeah.
in there, because before I'm like, I'm not, a great, good song, I like it, but then that made me really love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
just made
So-
it less choppy.
It filled in
and-
the gaps.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
did.
for sure. Yeah, this song is sweet. I really, really like that song. And it literally went, I think for each one of us, it went from being probably the least listened to
Yeah.
and like our least favorite out of all of them to like our absolute most favorite.
This is the one I show
You know.
people when they ask. If I
Yeah,
had to
this
pick
one's
one,
cool.
this is the one.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. And it's like, it's just, it's 100%. The song exists for that chorus.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah.
the rest of it is cool, but it's like it exists to sing that chorus 3 times, and that's it. You know?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
We snuck
It's a
some
good-
fun stuff in there too, though. The verses.
Oh, the scream is in there.
Yeah.
What else?
Did
No,
you
just
hear
like
it?
the verses. They're fine. The first verse specifically, I think like I love that one
Oh.
so much. It's just yes, I've wanted to do that
with the punk beat.
forever.
Yeah. The
God, it's
fastest
so
punk beat.
great.
Yeah.
But like the call and response, everything about it, I just think it's unique and cool, and it's just fun to do something different,
Yeah.
which is why we did this.
Let me, David, see if you can hear the scream.
Yeah, because I want
Searching for some and finding out the cost of searching for some kind.
It's there.
It's pretty quiet.
Are you sure it made it?
I baked it into the production track, and
Dare.
it was really quiet.
Deep fried it.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, it was
I
one of
wanted
those.
to, it was quiet enough to where like you can't really hear it. I just wanted to know it was in there.
Is Loof in this one? Or was it not Loof?
No,
It's
your
my
cat.
cat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maddie's
Is my
cat.
cat in this one?
I forget what song, but there's a track where we have a sample of your cat crunching on food, and we because it was just happening in the background when you were remotely tracking vocals there, And we were like, it was just so cute. I was like, that has to be in the record. So it's like same deal. It's in there. You can't hear it, but it's in there.
Shout out to Cat Kibble.
It's
Yeah.
there.
We called it, the track was labeled Kitty Crunches.
Kitty Crunch.
Yeah, and then this one, I remember Stove and I think we were writing or something, or I was like tracking vocals the first time around or something. I don't remember what it was. But I remember we were to the point of like, y'all remember when we used to tour and Steve and I would sit in the back seat
Yes.
and like an hour in, we would just be literally climbing the walls.
Kicking the ceiling.
Yeah, we kicked
We
the
got
ceiling.
cabin fever pretty quick.
It was like two caged like baboons back there or something.
It was like you would think we were on drugs, but we most certainly were
There was a
not.
lot of tomfoolery happening.
Yeah, Maddie and I in the same room when we both have cabin fever.
It's bad. It's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Or maybe horsing around might be the right word.
We were definitely horsing around.
But I remember we were doing that, and then all of a sudden, Stove just went, yeah.
And then it never went away. You still do that. If a room is too quiet for too long,
Yeah.
you just go, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think
know.
I was like, Stove, you have to record that. And we did it, and we were like, let's see if anyone notices.
Love
It
it.
felt like that's why I when I made the canvas for all of the videos, I put a little nod to our old touring vehicle in there.
I saw that.
Oh yeah.
Little bus invaders.
Yeah, so I thought it was cute that I don't know, because I just think about when I think about my time with Envoy, I think about being in that back seat and just like we had a box of honeycomb that was like tucked away behind there, and I'm pretty sure when y'all sold the van, the honeycomb went with it.
Oh yeah.
It's gone.
The honeycomb is a part of that van, the Envoy
Awesome.
mobile.
Yeah. It's wild. I mean, go ahead.
Isn't it fun to have made a record that we like?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jimmy, let me just tell you something. I wouldn't create something that I don't like. It has to pass that. Right, Jimmy, we're writing music for ourselves, not for everybody else. And that's the mistake you fucking bands out there are not. You know.
go.
Old man
That you're
Turpass
missing.
coming to tell you what you're doing wrong.
Let me tell you what you bands out there are doing wrong is you're trying to write music for other people. You got to write music for yourself. That's the only person that matters.
Well, it's got to be authentic.
Got to be something you want to
It's got
listen
to
to.
be real. It's got to be a real, authentic creation from yourself
Yeah.
that other people will hopefully enjoy.
You do you. That's my advice. Write music for you.
Unless it doesn't rock, then don't.
And don't do
That is-
Well,
that's a
I would hope
baseline.
if your like acceptance level of music doesn't rock, maybe don't do music.
Yeah, I think that's the
Or learn how to rock.
Acquire rocking taste,
Yeah.
then
That's a part
start a
of-
band.
Yeah. Adjust your taste.
But isn't that how it works? Like
Learn what
you acquire
rocking is.
rocking taste by listening to like rockin' music and like getting really into it. Listen, whether that's your friggin' Kenny Chesney and just bringing him up because I was just listening to him, and your rockin' taste is listening to frickin' Garth Brooks, and that absolutely rocks, and you want to make that kind of rock. That's totally fine.
yeah. There's
But
not
as long
just
as it
one
rocks,
kind of rock. Yeah,
there's many kind of rock.
Rock is
very
an
true.
adjective.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, no, this is cool. I think that was fun to kind of listen to and talk a little bit about the song. I mean, it really was quite a journey writing those songs. I mean, just because all of us do kind of other things. I mean, other things, like some of us do things in the music industry, obviously, but like
Right.
outside of Envoy, this truly was just a side project thing, right? Like I have a full-time job. Jimmy has a full-time job. Maddie is a full-time musician doing plenty of other things aside from Envoy. Steve records and is in a fucking death metal band. Like it's like all of us have such different things going on that this really was kind of like back of the priority list, but we still managed to chunk out time, whether it was once every couple weeks or whatever to like get together and make it happen. But we freaking made it happen.
It's because it's fun. It's because we decided to do it. And also I think there's something to be said. Like this project has gone through so many different lineups and iterations, and it's really cool to do it with this group, because I feel like the four of us have been the ones that have like kind of crafted this like community, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
when we were being the heartbeat, like that felt like this little tight knit spot was like the heartbeat.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just really cool that it wound up being the four of us.
Yeah. I think the four of us always were like the core that created pretty much everything that you listen to. Like virtually all of it was created by the four of us, right? You know, obviously Jimmy came in after Changes, but still like Changes was like freshly released at that point. So it's like all of our performances of it and this and that, like he shaped, you know, the performances of those songs at that point and anything we did after it. So it was like, I still equate you into the Changes process because you were a part of, you know, putting that album actually out, you know, even though you didn't record it and write it with us.
Means a lot to me. It does. It does.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That was a
And,
shitty
like,
fist bump.
so thankful to all the previous members and so thankful to like just the time and energy we've all taken to get it to this spot, and more than anything so thankful to the folks that are listening.
Yeah, definitely.
Just dropping a fucking record and being like, hope people like it, and then seeing it get the reception that it's getting
Yeah.
is so like, number one, it's fulfilling, and number two, like it's encouraging.
Yeah,
It's this like, oh man, like cool, people dig it. That's really
People still care. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool that it's been so long, and this is like the first actual release we put out in over 10 years, and to know that like so many people have stuck around and still care. I'm very grateful for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's super cool. And it's like, you know, we've all kind of had our own individual conversations of like what the future holds as far as Envoy. And there's like we don't know. You know what I mean? Like we really have absolutely no freaking idea where anything is going to go from here. But I think that we still have a lot to share with everybody, whether it's in the form of, you know, just recording some songs every now and then when we get that urge to, whether it's, you know, playing a show here or there, you know, whether it's, you know, I think a really cool idea, like this is really fun how we're doing this right now. I think a fun kind of thing to do would be to get together and just like share stories from, you know, back in the day. Like I know like the three of us when we would get together, like we're like in the writing process, we would just talk about like favorite shows we played and like core like memories we have from like being on certain tours. And, you know, we had so many wild experiences for how young we are.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
I know.
So
crazy.
yeah.
Well,
so
we'll see.
we'll try to continue to do whatever the hell we do. I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah,
And we'll do it well.
we'll do it. We'll make sure it rocks.
We'll try.
Sure it rocks.
But yeah, that's all we got for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions or, you know, anything, I don't know, just reach out. Yeah. We're active on social media again. So, yeah.
Okay.
So DM us. We'll reply back.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, guys. Go
Good
team. Let's go. All right, take care. See ya.
Peace.
Much love, y'all.
Bye.